this is my favorite story of the morning here because we're talking about trading this, and it is, of course, on Rigetti Spaghetti. Now, I may have made a mistake yesterday. We'll see how it plays out here today. We did have a move higher in the RGTZ short. I didn't have a huge position in that, so I actually just closed it for a gain yesterday, and I didn't have any going into today. Part of the reason for that is because I suspected, you know what, I wouldn't even be terribly shocked if Rigetti gaps up tomorrow, and I might have an opportunity to add this at a lower price midday or maybe even in the pre-market. When I woke up today, Rigetti was actually trading lower. Here's what it looks like on the intraday chart. We've basically been leaking a little bit here in the pre-market. We'll see if this rolls over here and then breaks yesterday's intraday low. I sold at about right down here yesterday, so I didn't quite bottom ticket, if you will, but I did pretty well on the trade, despite not really having a whole lot of shares. So if I get an opportunity to maybe even nibble here today, I will do that. I definitely want to see how this trades out of the open. But let's go back to the daily chart. You can see how extended this thing is. And a simple pullback, just a regression back to the mean would make for a pretty profitable trade. Here's the story, though. Rigetti CEO Subodh K. Kulkarni exercised options to convert 1 million shares on May 21st, 2025, and immediately sold them, leaving him with 0 shares. In a growth tech environment where executive ownership signals conviction, this move has ignited questions about leadership commitment at the quantum computing startup. Definitely want to get your folks' thought on that. We talk about insider buys and sells here all the time. I want to know what you think about a guy exercising a contract for 1 million shares and then immediately dumping them. According to Benzinga Pro Insider data, Kulkarni's 0 share position stands out. Other insiders, including director Ray O. Johnson, have sold shares recently, adding to the scrutiny. These filings reveal patterns that some investors interpret as a lack of confidence, sparking debates over whether Rigetti's leadership is genuinely committed to the company's long-term vision. Now, stop me if you've heard this before, but skepticism happens to be running high on Reddit here. Investor sentiment on Reddit has been candid and critical. One user bluntly remarked, quote, "Quantum is totally overhyped and overbought," end quote. And before you ask, no, it wasn't Martin. This is someone else on Reddit. Another warned about the broader sector, highlighting the strength in IBM and Alphabet, quote, "All pure quantum is a scam. The only listed company which is actually trustworthy is IBM and maybe Alphabet," end quote. Some even saw the move as justified. Quote, "Rigetti CEO is one of the few honest people in quantum." I'm sorry for laughing. I'm doing my best here. Rigetti CEO is one of the few honest people in quantum. He openly stated that revenues are not coming anytime soon and that the company is overvalued. Of course he's selling shares. It's consistent with what he said. Rigetti's lack of insider ownership doesn't necessarily predict performance. We've covered that a lot. Tim Melvin has done a really good job explaining both buys and sells and what to look for over the past, and I'm sure he'll continue to do that. But in a sector already scrutinized for hype and unproven commercial models, a CEO holding 0 shares is unusual. For a company promising breakthroughs in quantum computing, investor confidence is partly tethered to whether leadership is personally betting on success. As Rigetti races to commercialize quantum technology, all eyes are on whether its executive actions align with the lofty promises, or whether Kulkarni's 0 share stance is a cautionary signal for investors. The stakes are high, and in the world of quantum computing, conviction, or lack thereof, can be just as important as the technology itself. And of course, Rigetti did not immediately respond to requests for comments. So I have to know, we've talked a lot about this. We've traded this a little bit. I know a ton of you made an absolute fortune on the upside, and I am so happy about that. Some of you might still hold some of this. That's okay too. Make sure you have an exit plan. But does this give you cause for concern? Or in another example, if you do not have a position, are you more inclined to maybe open up some short exposure on this, whether it's an actual short, puts on Rigetti, or one of those inverse ETFs? Lying here wasting no time, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. Fatty Liver King saying RGTZ calls. And you know what? We were just trading the stock, Fatty Liver King. They don't have options yet. RGTZ does not have options yet. Checking right now, no options chain. But you bring up a really good point here. This is definitely something to watch because we've seen when option chains are released for some of these stocks or ETFs, it can have an impact on the price. So while there's no options yet, I would imagine we're going to get that here at some point pretty soon. That could be a hell of a play.